Take me back to the garden. Lead me back to the moment I heard your voice. Take me back to communion. Lead me back to the moment I saw your face. And it was all so simple. It was easy to love. No space between us. It was easy to trust. 'Cause you are closer, closer than my skin. And you are in the air I'm breathing in. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. It feels so good to know you are my friend. And this is the garden. Here in the place I find you close. This is communion. Here in the place I'm fully known. And it was all so simple. You're so easy to love. No space between us. You're so easy to trust. 'Cause you are closer, closer than my skin. And you are in the air I'm breathing in. And here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. It feels so good to know you are my friend. Never thought that I could have a friend like you. I didn't know that I could have a friend like you. Closer than a brother. Thank you, Jesus. I didn't know that I could have a friend like you. Never let me down. I didn't know that I could have a friend like you. This is where we're meant to be. Me and you and me. I don't have to prove a thing. No, no. You've already approved of me. This is where I'm meant to be. Me and you and me. I don't have to prove a thing. 'Cause you've already approved of me. This is where I'm meant
we're living in unprecedented times, times that are very difficult for so many people all across the world. So many people have lost so much already. People have lost family members. Folks have lost jobs. Businesses are struggling. Families wondering what happens next. Every time you turn on the news, it seems like the situation just gets worse. Everything says that it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So times like this, you can ask yourself, well, you know, where is God in all of this? And what is his plan for the world? Reminds me of the book of John, chapter 11. Jesus is with his disciples and he receives a message, an urgent message. Messenger comes and tells him, Jesus, your friend Lazarus, the one that you love, is dying. He's at the point of death. And they're summoning you to Bethany. These were very special people to Jesus. They were family to him, Mary, Martha, and Lazarus. And he looks up and he says, this sickness isn't unto death, but that the glory of God will be manifested. And he does something crazy. He stays where he's at for 2 more days. And you would think that hearing the news that Jesus would get up and he'd rush to the aid of his friend. After all, this was someone that he loved. But Jesus stays where he's at for 2 more days, ministers to those that are around him. And then finally, he gets up and he tells his disciples it's time to go to Bethany. But by this time, it seemed like it was too late. Lazarus had passed away. You know, sometimes, and as we go through this unprecedented situation, it can seem really, really difficult because we call out to Jesus and it seems like he's just not answering, he's just not there, that he just doesn't move, that he's not answering our prayers, that he's not making a way. And it can seem like he's just so far away, like he's just so disconnected. And yet Jesus, he gets up and travels to Bethany. And he gets to Bethany and tells his disciples, we're going because Lazarus is sleeping. And I'm going to go wake him up. They get to Bethany. Mary and Martha are there and they tell him, Jesus, if you had just been here, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. And he tells Mary, he says, listen, your brother is going to rise again. And she tells him, yes, we know he's going to rise in the resurrection. He says, no, I am the resurrection. I am the life. Now, what's interesting is that Jesus waited 2 days before he made his way, but in reality, he was only 12 hours away. He was only a day's walk away. As far sometimes as we think that Jesus is to us, and as far as we think that he is to answering our issues, to answering our problems, to bringing the relief that we need, I want you to know that he's not that far away. I want you to be encouraged today to understand that Jesus is only a prayer away. He's just a moment away. And what if our current circumstance was not a setback, but it's actually a setup for the glory of God to be made manifest? Though we're passing through very difficult times, I don't mean to be flippant about things and make it seem like it's nothing, but I want to bring hope to you today. That though it may seem dark, though it may seem dreary, Though it may seem that this issue is prolonged, Jesus is not that far away. There is hope in the crisis. There is hope even in our present circumstance. Because our setback is really a setup for God to do what only He could do. The Bible says that when He arrived, that He wept. His flesh wept because He felt the separation of His earthly friendship. But then He raises His voice and He spoke out and He says, Lazarus, come forth. Lazarus came out of the tomb. Now the interesting part was this. 2 days before, remind you 4 days before, because Lazarus had passed away. He had been passed away for 4 days. He said, this sickness is not unto death, but that the glory of God would be made manifest. You see, the beauty of Jesus is that He already knows your end from the beginning. And He's never that far away. He's as close as our prayers. He's as close as our worship. And I would encourage you, my friend, if you're watching this right now, I would encourage you to take heart. Understand that God always has us in the palm of His hands. Jesus knows our end from the very beginning. And He's getting ready to do what only He can do. I believe that. And I trust that. And that's why I have the confidence and the hope in Jesus and in His will for our world here today. Just worship with us.
This is where I'm meant to be. Me and you and you and me. I don't have to prove a thing. You've already approved of me. Come on, say this is where. This is where I'm meant to be. No matter what the circumstance, me and you and you and me. I'm in the right place, and I don't have to prove a thing. Come on, let's tell Him you've already approved of me. This is where I'm meant to be. Me and you and me. And I don't have to prove a thing. I don't. Already approved of me. One more time, 'cause this is where, come on. 'Cause this is where I'm meant to be. Yeah. Me and you, come on. Me and you and me. I don't have to, and I don't have to prove a thing. You've already approved, come on. You've already approved of me. Come on. 'Cause this is where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. One more time. Here's where the dead things come back to living. I feel my heart beating again. What a friend I have in you, Jesus. What a friend I have in you, Jesus. What a friend I have in you, Jesus. You're closer than a brother. What a friend I have in you, Jesus. What a friend I have in you, Jesus. You've always been. What a friend I have in you, Jesus. No matter what I'm going through. What a friend.